D.C. and here closer to home.
We did what we came here to do, and so much more.
President Trump has delivered his farewell address, and this morning will share his final message to the country after leaving the White House.
Well, the White House released a statement announcing more than 100 pardons from the president on his final day in office. We'll share some of the people that made the list in just a moment.
And we're taking a look outside as the sun gets ready to crest the horizon. A little bit of patchy fog, but that will be a distant story soon.
Well, welcome to Up with KREM. Today, President-elect Joe Biden will become the 46th president of the United States.
And we are taking a live look right now at Capitol Hill this morning. Right now, President-elect Joe Biden is in the final moments of Mass this morning. From here, the President-elect will head toward the Capitol for another step closer towards the inauguration ceremony, Jen.
Of course, the official inauguration and taking the oath of office is coming up in about 2 hours at 9 a.m. our time. In the meantime, though, we will have team coverage this morning here on the CW22. Tim Pham joining us this morning. He'll be keeping an eye on events in Washington, D.C. from our inauguration center. And Nicole Hernandez is also live with how local law enforcement is preparing for today.
Jeremy Legou also joining us in the Weather Center this morning to let us know what kind of weather we should expect today. The trend was fog. Is it the same, Jeremy?
Ooh, it's an interesting one. It's a very interesting one. We saw a little bit of patchy fog early on this morning, and as the sun comes up, we can see something kind of cool. Temperatures dropping down below freezing overnight means that frost formed in some locations. Sun comes up, heats up that frost, the moisture rises, recondenses as you hit that cold air just above ground. Could see a little more patchy fog here in, say, the next hour, and then I think we're basically done with it because that sun comes up and does a decent job of burning off a lot of it. Not much to say in the way of fog early on this morning. We saw some denser fog on Division early on today and over in the Waterville Plateau area, but for now it's those temperatures hanging out on the chilly side. It's another cool morning across the inland Northwest. We are in the 20s once again, and if you think today is cold, well, bundle up heading into the weekend is the only advice I can give you. We're going to see a shift in our weather pattern that arrives overnight tonight into tomorrow. So later on this afternoon, I think we get a little bit of sunshine, and then we'll see clouds build in as we see a little bit of a storm slide by, and that brings the chance of snow to southern Washington and southern portions of the Idaho Panhandle. Some of those locations, Pullman, Moscow, might pick up a little bit of snow by the time this thing comes to an end, Jen.
All right, Jeremy, thank you. 7:04 now. Well, this morning security is high across the nation ahead of inauguration, and this is for possible protests.
So this morning we have checked in with our local law enforcement to find out what they are expecting today in our area. Nicole Hernandez is in Spokane this morning with more information on what the city is doing to prepare today. Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning, guys. So the Spokane Police Department says that at this point they don't know of any actual protests happening in our area, but they do say that they're still going to have officers on standby just in case anything does happen. Now, of course, this is all because of the violence that we saw at the Capitol just a couple of weeks ago. Even though the Spokane Stop the Steal protests were peaceful, the city wants to be prepared just in case. So here's what the Spokane Police Chief said in his statement about being prepared. Quote, "The #1 focus of our available resources is dedicated to monitoring any potential threats and using every available asset to ensure this week is peaceful and nonviolent for our region." Now, Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward also posted a statement on Facebook about today's transition of power. In part of that post, she said, quote, "Our city has been an example of how people can disagree, even passionately, without resorting to violence and destructive behavior. Let's do everything we can, Spokane, to make sure that continues." And Mayor Woodward also asked that we as a community make sure that we are vigilant throughout the day. And she said if you see any suspicious behavior of any part, that you can go ahead and report that to Spokane Police. Live in Spokane, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
Nicole, thank you. And of course, this morning security is tight at the state capitol ahead of inauguration. We do want to check in with our sister station from Seattle with more on the security detail in Olympia.
Last night, I spoke to Washington State Patrol, who said they are hopeful that things are going to remain calm here in Olympia today. Still, the National Guard is outside of the building. What we know is there are 600 National Guard members here at the state capitol. 400 Washington National Guard members were sent to Washington, D.C. for the inauguration. As far as what the time frame is for how long the National Guard is going to remain here in Olympia, that is still unknown. Some things we do know is that the governor and a spokesperson for the governor said they'll reassess the needs following the inauguration. The National Guard was given the okay to stay here at least through the weekend. Since they were put on patrol about a week and a half ago, 2 people have been arrested trying to gain access to the Capitol property. We also asked, what is all of this going to cost between food, lodging, and supplies? State Patrol says they don't know yet. They anticipate it's going to be a lot of money, but they say it was worth it.
Preparedness is not cheap. Security is not cheap. Safety is not cheap. But neither are the lives of the people that we're protecting.
Even if the National Guard is given the okay to leave, Washington State Patrol says there is still a fence around the Capitol building. It's unclear when that fence will be taken down. However, some lawmakers are arguing it should be taken down soon. But keep in mind, even without those security precautions, people still can't access the state Capitol building, and that is because of the coronavirus pandemic. In Olympia, Callie Greenberg, back to you.
And it's great to be back with your viewers. I can tell you it's going to be a very busy morning for the president-elect, soon-to-be President Joe Biden. He's expected to attend a church service this morning before he heads to the Capitol. And then, as you mentioned, right around noon Eastern, he's going to be sworn in as the 46th president. His wife, Dr. Jill Biden, will be beside him, holding their family Bible. We are expecting performances from Lady Gaga, Jennifer Lopez, Bruce Springsteen, and more. As we know, President Trump has already left. He's left on Air Force One, heading to Florida after a departure ceremony. He's now off to Mar-a-Lago. He's the first sitting president to skip his successor's inauguration in more than 150 years. But we do expect Joe Biden is going to be giving his first address from the Capitol just after he's sworn in. And the theme of this inauguration, his administration has said, is America United. But right now, there are big concerns whether or not that's actually going to be the case in the hours ahead. As I mentioned last hour, there are major security concerns here in D.C. Where we're standing now, this bridge, it's one of the few that's still open, allowing people to head into downtown D.C. But much of that area in downtown is in lockdown right now. We know military roadblocks are all over the place. There are fences with razor wire on top around the Capitol and the National Mall. And there are roughly 25,000 troops from the National Guard that have now deployed to Washington, D.C. It is more than double what was initially expected, and there are major concerns about what types of security threats we could see. We do expect some demonstrations, but they'll be happening most likely. Our understanding is that it'll be in a sanctioned area, what's been called the First Amendment zone, and those people will be screened as they go in. So we don't expect to see anything like what we saw on January 6th, the insurrection at the Capitol. But just in the last couple of days, security officials have raised concerns about a potential inside job, with 12 members of the National Guard having been removed from their security posts because of either odd behavior or potential ties to right-wing fringe groups. We have also heard concerns about QAnon and members threatening to pose as National Guard troops to try to get into the inauguration, get through inauguration security. So again, these officials at the FBI, the National Guard, local law enforcement, everyone is on high alert here in D.C. this morning.
And Gabe, stay with us here just a moment. Of course, we know that flags are lining the National Mall. Are you still seeing people that are trying to attend the inauguration this morning?
Well, we are expecting a crowd. They're expecting a much smaller crowd, which obviously is COVID related. It was already expected to be the case. That the crowd is expected to be roughly what would the group that would be at the State of the Union address, maybe 1,000 people or so. The mayor of D.C. has told people, do not come to our city. And for those here, the 700,000 people in this community are being asked not to go anywhere near that downtown area. And frankly, for any members of the public who might be trying to get a look at what's unfolding, it is going to be extremely difficult. As I mentioned, there are military roadblocks all over the place. Getting anywhere near the National Mall is next to impossible. You need special credentials to get through through Secret Service. There are separate credentials for different areas. So frankly, we're expecting a very small group trying to make their way to downtown.
All right, Gabe Cohen reporting live this morning from the D.C. area. We'll be checking in with him throughout the morning. Gabe, we appreciate your coverage this morning as we continue to check in on a historic day from our nation's capital. And still head on up with KREM this morning. A plan is in place to get more people vaccinated in Washington state. But some Washingtonians are saying it's hard to know if their appointment's actually going to happen. Coming up in our next half hour of Up with KREM, we spoke with one woman whose vaccination appointment was canceled the day it was supposed to happen.
And we've seen a dismal start to 2021 when it comes to snowfall. We're talking your next chances of seeing anything accumulate here in Spokane.
Are you looking for your forever electrician? Look no further than Infinite Electric. Our licensed, bonded, and insured electricians are among the most trusted and experienced in the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene region. Call now and receive $49 off your next electrical service or repair. Infinite Electric, your forever electricians.
Put 2020 behind you with a little trip to a winner's wonderland at the Kootenai Casino in Bonners Ferry. Our progressive January jackpot and hot midweek spins are creating a blizzard of cash for winners. Weekday room specials in our Kootenai Falls Lodge start at just $59, with weekend rates starting at just $99. Book now and get 2 breakfast vouchers. To book your January winner's wonderland getaway, call 888-YOU-ARE-LUCKY.
You're strong. You power through chronic migraine. 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more. Botox prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. So if you haven't tried Botox for your chronic migraine, check with your doctor if Botox is right for you and if samples are available.
Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
95% of patients may pay as little as $0 for Botox, so text to see how you can save. Botox has been preventing headaches and migraines before they even start for 10 years. So ask your doctor about Botox today.
In these parts, Ford honors the brave ones, the loggers, fur traders, and homesteaders who built our communities, the adventure seekers who kept going where the road ended. Our wagons may have changed, but the spirit of the brave ones lives on in all of us, bold enough to escape, explore, and rediscover the land we love. For a limited time, get a new Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer with 0 for 60 plus $2,500 bonus cash. Only at your local Northwest Ford dealer.
At VisionWorks, we want you to feel safe. And we want you to see yourself in your new glasses and think, ooh. But if you get home and your ooh is more of a you have 100 days to change your mind. That's the VisionWorks difference. VisionWorks, see the difference.
Lights flickering? Outlet not working? Infinite Electric will have you up and running in no time. Call now and receive $49 off your next electrical service or repair. For all your electrical needs, Infinite Electric, your forever electricians.
Well, President Trump has officially left the White House. Both he and First Lady Melania Trump made a farewell remarks before boarding Air Force One.
This has been an incredible 4 years. We've accomplished so much together. I want to thank all of my family and my friends and my staff and so many other people for being here.
Being your First Lady was my greatest honor. Thank you for your love and your support. You will be in my thoughts and prayers. God bless you all.
Well, President Trump is now on his way to his home in Florida. The White House is preparing for the next president. Movers were seen early this morning moving furniture out of the White House and into a truck. Meanwhile, President Trump used his last hours in the White House to grant clemency to a wide range of offenders. The most prominent name on the list is former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon. Now, Bannon is accused of defrauding donors in an effort to build a private wall along the Mexican border. His trial was due to begin in May. Two more notable names are rappers Lil Wayne and Kodak Black. Missing from the list, though, are Capitol rioters, despite pleas from some of the alleged. Joe Exotic also missed out on a pardon despite fans waiting for his release in a stretch limo outside of the medical center where he's being held. Also notably not on the list, no family members or Rudy Giuliani. And despite once claiming that he had the absolute right to pardon himself, the president apparently decided against it. Well, meanwhile, Mr. Biden paid tribute to the 400,000 Americans who died due to the coronavirus. Unlike past inaugurations, the National Mall will mostly be empty for today's ceremony, due in part to security concerns following the assault on the Capitol. This past April, in the midst of the United States' first surge of the coronavirus, nurse Lori Key went viral after singing Amazing Grace to lift the spirits of her colleagues and patients.
Amazing grace.
Beautiful. Well, she finished out the tribute for COVID-19 victims in Washington, D.C.
And I hope you've been enjoying our warm weather. A cool down is in the forecast. I'll let you know when colder temperatures make their way into the inland northwest.
KREM 2 News is sponsored by Airstream of Spokane.
Ora wheat bread, gathering, baking, and delivering the goodness of nature from one generation to the next, and from seed to slice.
Leaky pipes? Clogged drain? No hot water? At Raptor Rooter and Plumbing, we know there's more essential business happening in your home now than ever before. We've implemented a no-contact process because we understand the safety of your family and sanitation of your home is critical. Call Raptor Rooter and Plumbing today at 509-230-2369 and receive $30 off any drain cleaning service. Raptor Rooter and Plumbing. We make your leaks become extinct.
How would COVID vaccines work in your body? Well, I have 60 seconds to tell you 3 things you should know. Ready? Number 1, getting the immune system in shape. A vaccine is basically a training session for the immune system.
What?
Vaccines teach the immune system to look for the key features of a virus. So, when a virus does show up, it's ready to fight it off. Number 2.
Sure.
Meet virus.
Am I at the wall for that, or is that that's a view?
The virus. Then
Oh, perfect.
Your
Okay.
immune system starts preparing by making antibodies, or fighter cells, that stay in your blood as protection in case the virus tries to invade. What this means is you get immunity against the disease without having to get sick first. Number 3, community immunity. When enough people's bodies know how to fight off a virus, it has nowhere to go. That slows the spread. When people get a vaccine, we're able to stop the spread quicker and get a little closer to ending this pandemic. That's basically how vaccines work. And that is 60 seconds.
Despite the overwhelming effects of COVID-19, the Spokane real estate market continues to be red hot. But to sell your home fast and for top dollar, you need help from a pro. So who do you call?
Rich King.
Rich King.
Rich King. Rich King. Rich King. Rich King. Rich King. Obviously, Rich King.
Hi, I'm Rich King. I'll sell your home fast for top dollar, and I'll take on all of the stress of selling your home. Give me a call.
Watch Daily Blast Live tonight at 7 on KREM 2.
Now, your local Storm Tracker 2 forecast.
Well, we're about 10 minutes away from the official sunrise here in town, but you can see a little bit of a haze in the atmosphere. That's some of that fog. That'll burn off quite quick, but what we will also see is some of the frost from overnight kind of releasing into the air, so that haze will last, I think, about until 8 a.m. in many locations. And then, well, as we head into the afternoon, I've got a bit of good news for some of you sun lovers out there. For now, it's a bundle up kind of morning. Temperatures down in the 20s. And for the most part, we're talking much better visibility than what we saw just yesterday. So we're going to keep a close eye on that throughout much of the morning, as the potential for fog still exists, but it's cold just about everywhere. So where that fog is, it is freezing fog, and you could likely wind up with another morning similar to what we saw late yesterday morning. Patchy fog, sun later on today. There's your good news. But as we head into the weekend, we've got a couple of chances of snow. The first of those arrives tomorrow. Not for us here in Spokane, but believe it or not, areas south of us have that chance of getting a little bit of snow as we see a shift in our weather pattern. We go from a zonal flow in the jet stream all the way down to a trough. And as that transition takes place, we see the chance of a little snow in southern Washington and the southern portion of the Idaho Panhandle as we head into the day tomorrow. That storm dies down, pulls in cold air, and this weekend we have our next shot of moisture moving in, and that one offers us some snow here in Spokane. Still days out. Forecast models are suggesting a couple of inches, maybe a few inches in some locations in town, but we're still a few days out, so a lot to iron out as that day nears. 38 degrees here in Spokane this afternoon, 35 in Sandpoint, 37 in Coeur d'Alene. Notice temperatures above freezing just about everywhere, but don't get used to it. We'll start to see that shift tomorrow. Moisture keeps us a little bit warmer throughout the day, so I think we're in the upper 30s. By Friday, a mix of clouds and sun, and temperatures trending in the mid-30s. Many locations will struggle to get above freezing on Friday, and by Saturday, sun and cold.
Oh, Jeremy, okay, there's a little something for everyone there. I'm focusing in on that sunshine on Saturday, but hey, skiers and snowboarders might be in business. 7:22 now this morning, a lottery jackpot is closing in on $1 billion. That is with a B. Up ahead, more on the next drawing for one of the largest payouts in history.
Tonight's going to be active weather-wise. We're talking winds that could potentially be damaging, right?
Absolutely. Possibility of some of these trees just coming down.
Tracking the latest breaking updates for you as a windstorm is now passing through the region.
So we want to get right to Jeremy Legoo tracking the wind this morning.
We are expecting that strong wind to continue.
Powerful windstorm just wreaking havoc.
Nearly 100,000 people across the region without power.
Trees ripped clean out of the ground. Try to avoid driving on the roads tonight.
The wind has kind of subsided, but the cleanup effort just getting started.
How to change the way you pizza. Step 1, grab a delicious Papa Murphy's pizza. Step 2, bake. Step 3, chow down on the deliciousness. Right now, get the Cowboy Pizza for just $13. Papa Murphy's.
If you need a new mattress, what you don't know could end up costing you. Come to Twilight Bedding Mattress Factory and talk to the experts. We make your mattress right here in our factory, so we can tell you exactly what it's made of. Twilight Bedding is also the only place in the area where you can still buy a double-sided mattress. Visit our website to learn the top 10 questions to ask when buying a mattress, and then come see us. Sleep Right by Twilight.
More than 20 years ago, we forged a commitment to providing the most well-respected assisted living and retirement community possible. Orchard Crest desires to help our seniors because they have spent their life caring for others. Locally owned and operated, our mission is to provide a safe environment with flexible amenities for you and your loved one's abilities. Our focus will always be, it's your life, it's your home, because our residents come first. Orchard Crest Retirement, Independent Assisted Living and Memory Care, now showing openings and taking COVID precautions every step of the way.
As a cement mason, I use a Dove bar because I work with a lot of dust and dirt. Just washing the dirt and the grime off and just bringing you back to you. You see the glow? That's a Dove bar.
Dove cleans effectively, cares beautifully.
It's a new year, and we have a new Nissan for you. This is the all-new 2021 Nissan Rogue. It has all the latest features. And we've got new Frontier, Altima, Titan, and more.
Hi, I'm Tommy. Get 0% financing for 84 months on this 2021 Nissan Titan. Or save up to $2,000 in Nissan customer cash, plus another $500 in Nissan bonus cash on this 2020 Nissan Frontier.
Come see us at Wendell Nissan at the Y or WendellNissan.com.
At Papa Murphy's, we make fresh pizza that you bake at home. Because home is where the fun is. Right now, get the chicken bacon artichoke pizza for just $10. Papa Murphy's. Change the way you pizza.
7:25 now. Welcome back. Time for your morning rush. More news in less time. Well, this morning we are learning Washington has one of the highest car theft rates in the nation. This is from a study by the Car Insurance Comparison. It looked at data from the Federal Highway Administration and the National Insurance Crime Bureau. It found Washington is 5th worst in the country. We see 423 stolen cars for every 100,000 residents. However, there is some good news. In recent years, our vehicle theft rate actually decreased by 10%. Meanwhile, Idaho is one of the lowest car theft rates in the country. It ranked 47th on the list. Washington, D.C. has the most car thefts. Well, today a public hearing is set on a bill aiming to advance Washington's reopening plan. Spokane's Jeff Holy is one of the sponsors of that Senate bill. It would move all businesses to phase 2. It would also allow all restaurants to open at 25% capacity. Well, for more information, you can text BILL to 509-448-2000. The largest Mega Millions jackpot in 2 years is about to get even bigger. No one won last night's grand prize drawing, so the next jackpot, get this, $970 million. So that drawing is Friday night. In the meantime, though, another huge jackpot is up for grabs tonight. The Powerball drawing is worth $730 million. Yeah, no one's won either of those since September. All right, that's your morning rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM on social media. Well, this week, around 400,000 more people are eligible to get the COVID-19 vaccine here in Washington. At 7:30, we detail how to get the vaccine here in Spokane. And Spokane showed up for stranded animals in last week's windstorm.
We decided we just can't let our animals be at the risk of a natural disaster. We have to be ready for anything.
Coming up, more on how our city stepped up to help the Spokane Humane Society.
Yeah, we're looking at a little bit of cloud cover early on this morning, but I think later today we might just see a little bit of sunshine. I'll walk you through what to expect in the day ahead.
And this morning we are taking a live look this morning in the nation's capital. You can see President-elect Joe Biden there and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris arriving at the steps of the Capitol. Inauguration is now about an hour and a half away. We'll continue to track that this morning here on Up with KREM.
Looking for your forever electrician? Look no further than Infinite Electric. Our licensed, bonded, and insured electricians are among the most trusted and experienced in the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene region. Call now and receive $49 off your next electrical service or repair. Infinite Electric, your forever electricians.
At the Coeur d'Alene Boat Expo, you'll find better boats, better prices, and bigger discounts. Attend the Coeur d'Alene Boat Expo, January 27th through the 31st, where you'll find the region's largest inventory of new and used boats. Under 64,000 feet of indoor display area. The Coeur d'Alene Boat Expo features names like Chris Craft, Cobalt, Harris, Barletta, Regal, Malibu, or Access, and a huge display of used boats. Be sure to attend the Coeur d'Alene Boat Expo, January 27th through the 31st, next to Cedars Floating Restaurant in Coeur d'Alene, sponsored by Hagedon Marine.
My name is Leroy, and this is my Northwest Specialty Hospital story. I first noticed the pain in my knee about 1.5 years ago. I'd take aspirin, extra strength Tylenol, I would ice it every day. It got to a point I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't bear the pain, I couldn't do my job. This procedure I had was a knee replacement. Dr. Duntman treated me with great respect. When you walk in there, you'll feel like they're there to take care of you. And they've done just a tremendous job in my recovery. I couldn't recommend any higher than Northwest Specialty Hospital.
We made USAA insurance for members like Martin, an Air Force veteran made of doing what's right, not what's easy. So when a hailstorm hit, USAA reached out before he could even inspect the damage.
That's how you do it right.
USAA insurance is made just the way Martin's family needs it. With hassle-free claims, he got paid before his neighbor even got started. Because doing right by our members, that's what's right. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
Lights flickering? Outlet not working? Infinite Electric will have you up and running in no time. Call now and receive $49 off your next electrical service or repair. For all your electrical needs, Infinite Electric, your forever electricians.
Up with KREM begins now.
7:30 now on our Wednesday morning. Washington has ambitious goals to get people vaccinated against COVID-19.
I do think we think this is realistic.
Up ahead, we take a look at the logistics.
And now that there is a state plan, how do you sign up for the coronavirus vaccine in Spokane? We're exploring the process.
Well, those bells are a part of a number of tributes for COVID-19 victims across Seattle. We'll have more on this and other stories from around the Northwest right now on Up with KREM.
And expect a little bit of sunshine to peek its way out from behind the clouds later today. I'll let you know how many days in the next few you get to enjoy some of that sunshine.
7:31 now, taking a live look at the nation's capital this morning. Inauguration set now for about an hour and a half by now. You can see a small crowd there gathering. We just moments ago saw Vice President-elect Kamala Harris and President-elect Joe Biden arrive for that ceremony.
And they have since stepped inside this morning as the proceedings continue. You can see there is some kind of live band performing this morning as that small crowd is in attendance. Of course, we will continue to monitor the situation from the nation's capital this morning, and our full coverage will continue as well on KREM 2 this morning. But for right now, of course, our eyes on the Capitol this morning. We can see all the flags laid out in spots where people cannot be in attendance for the inauguration today. Thousands and thousands of flags, Jen. But of course, everyone's eyes are still on the Capitol this morning.
Yeah, and getting a better view in the daylight hours of all those flags. Kind of an interesting shot there. So, of course, that's something we'll monitor from the nation's capital this morning. Welcome back to Up with KREM. In the meantime, though, here on the CW22, we are tracking your local news for the day.
But before we get to the local headlines, we're going to check in with Jeremy Legoo in the Weather Center, because weather has been something we're also keeping our eyes on, especially with a lot changing this weekend, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a little bit of active weather early on this morning. We saw some patchy freezing fog off to the north, Highway 2 395 area. Some of that freezing fog froze to the road. We saw some slick spots early on, a few cars slide off the road. Just be aware that temperatures are still on the cool side, and that could still be something that you might contend with. Fog is starting to lift across the region, seeing improving visibility in many of the locations we saw fog early on today, but those temperatures once again still below freezing, so you still might encounter some of those slick spots early on this morning. As we scoot through the day, temperatures rise. We're looking at a little bit of cloud cover early on, but later on we will see a little bit of sunshine. I've got faith in that. Not near the sunshine of earlier this week, but a little bit makes its way in this afternoon. That should help bump our temperatures up today. Then tomorrow we see a bit of moisture that might bring a light round of snow to southern Washington and the southern portions of the Idaho Panhandle. Later on today, with that sun peeking out, expect temps to climb into the upper 30s, but for now it's a chilly start to the day. So Jen, bundle up.
All right, Jeremy, thank you. Well, this morning there is a huge push to use the remaining COVID-19 vaccine doses currently in Washington state. Washington Governor Jay Inslee wants the current stock administered by this Sunday. And for future shipments, he wants 95% of those doses given within 1 week.
Now, the Washington State Hospital Association is weighing in on why they think they can meet that goal.
I do think we think this is realistic. We now have a lot more people we can vaccinate. There were a lot of, we were beating the bushes to find 1As in the last week. So I think it's exciting that we have there's a lot more people eligible.
Now, the Hospital Association is asking you to not flood hospitals looking for vaccines, because that does increase the risk of spreading the coronavirus.
And right now, the Washington Department of Health is expected to provide a list of providers offering the vaccine.
But many patients across the state say that they are finding all of the appointment slots are full, or that they aren't getting an answer about where to go next.
I spent 25 minutes waiting on the state
hotline, which is actually a cold one because I never got through.
Now, leaders say the problems are due to the unpredictable supply chain from the federal government.
We need vaccine to schedule those appointments. We can't schedule appointments without knowing that we have vaccine coming.
Now, the State Department of Health is weighing in on the issue as well, saying that for now, the best thing you can do is call your doctor or pharmacy to see when you can get in, or keep checking the Phase Finder website to see when more slots open up.
And in Idaho, Governor Brad Little is asking for help with the pandemic response. He wants to activate more National Guard members. Governor Little also wants the number to be increased from 250 to 400 Guard members. The additional members will help with vaccine distribution. And Idaho will soon offer healthcare providers grants to make it easier to administer the COVID-19 vaccine. These are for already enrolled vaccine providers. So these grants will help cover the cost for increasing staffing to administer those shots. It can also be used to purchase equipment and supplies. It will also improve vaccine access for hard-to-reach and vulnerable populations. The amount each vaccine provider will receive is based on the number of doses they administer.
Taking a look at what's trending right now, the new popular plan for the vaccine rollout in Washington means that thousands more residents will be eligible. Now, this is a tweet from the governor who says that that number is nearly 400,000 people. Now, you may be wondering, okay, so how can I even set up a time or an appointment to get that vaccination? Well, there are multiple ways, and here are just a few. So we're going to break it down for you. First, reach out to your regular doctor. Your primary care provider may be one of the providers distributing vaccines here in Spokane County. At least one local provider, MultiCare, has sent out a notification to patients saying that they can even check their eligibility and schedule a vaccination appointment online. Another option is to check with local pharmacies. One example is the CVS inside a Target just up the road from our studio here on the South Hill. CVS says they have already administered 1 million doses nationwide. Other chain pharmacies have also said they will be distributing the vaccine. One more option applies to those who are part of a HMO or health maintenance organization. An example of a local HMO is Kaiser Permanente. They said once it's confirmed a patient is eligible, they will be sent a website where they can make an appointment for their first and second doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. Lastly, you can use the Washington Phase Finder tool rolled out by the state's Department of Health. If you are determined to be eligible after you fill out your information, you can then enter your contact information. That will then lead to you getting a confirmation message on how you can show your provider that vaccine information. Now, the Department of Health's website also has a list of vaccine providers. The Washington Health Department also asked that if you are eligible for the vaccine, be patient. It may take many weeks for a vaccine appointment is available in your area. Do not show up at a vaccine location without an appointment. And if you have any questions, you can call their hotline. You see the number there on the bottom of your screen now. And there are some other ways you can go about scheduling your COVID-19 vaccine appointment. If you're older than 65 or more on that, you could schedule your appointment. Text the word vaccine 509-448-2000 and we'll get that information sent directly to your phone. Tim.
All right, Dana Marie, thanks so much. Let's take a look at some of today's biggest stories around the Northwest. The city of Seattle joined a national tribute of unity and remembrance for people who lost their lives to COVID-19. Several buildings in downtown Seattle were illuminated in light amber last night to commemorate the toll of COVID-19 on American lives. Places that were lit up were the Seattle Great Wheel, Lumen Field, T-Mobile Park, and the Amazon Spheres, as well as Climate Pledge Arena. Bell ringers sounded the Kobe bell at Seattle Center 40 times Tuesday afternoon to reflect on the nearly 4,000 lives lost in Washington state and the 400,000 lives lost in the United States. Meanwhile, in Portland, the virtual inaugural parade across America will feature this Portland doctor, Dr. Jason Campbell. You may remember him as the dancing TikTok doc who went viral earlier this year. All he was trying to do was keep his spirits high during the pandemic and inspire kids along the way. During today's parade, he will talk with comedian Jon Stewart about work he's been doing to uplift young men of color. Meanwhile, in Idaho, a Senate committee approved legislation to end Governor Brad Little's coronavirus emergency declaration and restrictions. Now, this could cause the state to lose millions of dollars in federal aid. Testimony in a Senate hearing states that at least $20 million could be in jeopardy. However, the resolution contains a clause saying federal money will not stop if the emergency declaration ends, but the state senators did not explain how that would work.
Coming up on 741 this morning, last week's windstorm left a countless number of people and businesses without power, including the Spokane Humane Society. Their director says Avista reported it would take them 5 days to restore power to the shelter.
If you could have imagined what it might have been like if it had happened during surgery, I mean, it could have been a real catastrophe.
After the break, we'll tell you how Spokane residents stepped in to help the shelter.
And looking outside this morning, we got a little bit of cloud cover, but do expect a little bit of sunshine later on today. I'll let you know about sun today, clouds tomorrow, and when you might see a little more sun.
Spokane Tribe Casino is happy to be open once again. We know you're ready to get out and have a little fun, and all your favorite casino action is here and waiting for you. We've taken extra precautions to ensure every area of the casino is clean and sanitized. And you'll notice, we've implemented new measures to ensure your safety. So when you're ready, come back for your favorite games, meals, and fun times. We're ready to serve you. Spokane Tribe Casino. You just win here.
At Chewy, we know walks are made better with our furry friends, and we're here to make those walks easier every step of the way. From tasty treats on the go, to toys that keep them moving. Whether it's rain or shine, get everything they need, even prescriptions to help them stay healthy. At Chewy, we have leashes, toys, and treats for every kind of walk, delivered right to your door. Get fast, free 1 to 2 day shipping. Visit chewy.com today.
Here's to the doers. To all the people who realize they can do more with less asthma. Thanks to Dupixent, the add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma. Dupixent isn't for sudden breathing problems. It can improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks and help prevent severe asthma attacks. It's not a steroid, but can help reduce or eliminate oral steroids. Dupixent can cause serious allergic reactions, including anaphylaxis. Get help right away if you have rash, shortness of breath, chest pain, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection. And don't change or stop your asthma treatments, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Are you ready to do more with less asthma? Talk to your asthma specialist about Dupixent. If your financial situation has changed, we may be able to help.
Sunny says the Parker Toyota team can be reached by phone, email, or even live chat. It's always no problem at our car store. Don't chase your tail. Our website has plenty of helpful information. You can schedule maintenance or repair service, find new, certified, or used car inventory, discover the value of your trade-in, even apply for financing. Take Sunny's advice. After your research, get the rest of the answers and take as many test drives as you wish at Parker Toyota in Coeur d'Alene.
7:44 now. We've got a reason for you to smile this morning as people in Spokane raised about $25,000 for the Spokane Humane Society. All of this came after last week's deadly windstorm with power outages forcing volunteers to evacuate about 50 animals. Now, the Humane Society's director says he had already been spreading the word that they were fundraising for a $15,000 generator, but that he got much more than he asked for.
Community just responded in a huge way. We raised just under $25,000 in 2 days.
Now, the directors say donations poured in from across our area, and people who could not donate offered to foster animals until power came back on. In fact, 2 animals were also adopted during those 2 days of fundraising, including a Dalmatian mix named Dottie. The extra $10,000 will now go to a new Wi-Fi and phone unit setup so that their equipment can still be used if another storm hits. That is my favorite story of the day, Jeremy.
That is a great reason to smile. Gotta love it when the community comes together no matter what it is. You throw in animals and boom.
We've got more Up with KREM coming up after this short break.
Arby's, 2 for $6 every day. It doesn't get more Arby's than this. 2 of those things for just $6. Arby's, we have the meats.
Does your bath or shower need a remodel? Bath Fitter can do it all. We'll remove your existing fiberglass tub or shower and replace it with a custom crafted shower or soaker tub. All made in America at our state-of-the-art factory. We rebuild your walls with new drywall and install a custom-made tub or shower with seamless
I was like, oh
walls
yeah,
in as
toss to
little as
weather,
1 day.
toss to break
All
after
work is
weather, and then
guaranteed and
I was
built to
like, oh
last.
no, that's not what they're saying.
Call your locally owned Bath Fitter store now to book your free in-home estimate or visit bathfitter.com.
Or wheat bread, gathering, baking, and delivering the goodness of nature from one generation to the next, and from seed to slice.
Despite the overwhelming effects of COVID-19, the Spokane real estate market continues to be red hot. But to sell your home fast and for top dollar, you need help from a pro.
One I totally
so who do you
forgot
call?
about until
Rich
just
King.
now.
Rich King.
Is
Rich
that
King.
they had to
Rich
hire
King.
someone?
Rich King.
Rich King. Rich King. Obviously, Rich King.
Hi, I'm Rich King. I'll sell your home fast for top dollar, and I'll take on all of the stress of selling your home. Give me a call.
When it comes to your cancer treatments, you have choices.
It's important to explore your options. A second opinion can help you make a more informed decision about your treatment.
Contact Summit Cancer Centers today. One of our cancer specialists will speak to you directly, offering you same-day second opinions and options available for your type of cancer. And second opinions are covered by most insurance companies.
Cancer, it's worth a second look.
Summit Cancer Centers. Integrated, innovative, inspired.
Arby's, 2 for $6 every day. Turkey, Swiss, vegetables. 2 of those things for just $6. Arby's, we have the meats.
$7:48 this morning. We are taking a live look from Washington, D.C. this morning as we are seeing any minute now some of the former presidents of the United States making their way out as part of today's inauguration preparation. Bill and Hillary Clinton on their way out this morning as we keep our eyes on the doors right now at the Capitol building. Of course, a number of former presidents this morning, Bill Clinton along with George W. Bush and Barack Obama in attendance this morning as we're taking that live look right now. And just as a reminder for you this morning, while we are continuing Up with KREM here on the CW22, we will also continue to feature coverage of the inauguration on KREM 2 as well as we take a look right now. Here they come. It is former President Bill Clinton as well as Hillary Clinton as well coming out right now, as you can see, part of the proceedings this morning from the Capitol. And as we mentioned, they will be joined as well by George W. Bush along with Barack Obama as the former presidents in attendance today. Also worth noting once again, President Trump has elected not to attend today's inauguration for President-elect Joe Biden. You can keep our eyes right here on the CW22 and KREM 2 for your latest coverage this morning. But right now, let's take a look outside with Jeremy Legoo.
Oh, all right. Sorry, was watching a little TV there. Let's go ahead and do weather. Sun's coming up. Officially, it is up. You can start to see it giving a little bit of glow to the sky, and you can see some of those breaks in the clouds we've been talking about. We are going to see a few more of those as we work our way into the afternoon. And the good news is, as the sun comes up and temperatures continue to rise just a bit, we're getting rid of a lot of that fog. We're still down in the 20s across much of the inland northwest, so be prepared for a chilly start to the day. 20 25 up in Sandpoint. And over the course of the next few days, those warm temperatures, or this relative warmth we feel right now, will be erased as our next chance of snow works its way into the forecast. For now, it's a little bit of cloud cover overhead, a little bit of patchy fog early on today. I think this afternoon we might catch a little bit of sunshine, and that's before a big shift in the weather pattern takes place. We go from a zonal flow in the jet stream to a trough digging in, and as that happens, we see some snow develop across parts of the inland northwest. Southern Washington, southern portions of the Idaho Panhandle take the brunt of that one, but still expect less than an inch of accumulation. That pulls in cold air. Then as we get into the weekend, we see our next storm move in, and that one offers more snow for the inland northwest. Joshua?
All right, we're going to take one more look at the Capitol this morning as our live coverage continues this morning. We can see the doors opening once again. This time we are joined by former President George W. Bush, as well as the former First Lady Bush as well. A slew of former presidents making their way right now to join in today's inauguration ceremony. Keep your eyes on CW22 as well as KREM 2 as our coverage continues throughout the morning here on Inauguration Day. Keep your eyes focused right here. But we'll be right back with more coverage throughout the morning of the live preparations for Inauguration Day from our nation's capital. In fact, we will keep our eyes on the scene from the Capitol as well this morning. We do expect President Obama to make his way out any minute now as we look at the live shot we have for you from the nation's capital this morning. Worth noting, we do expect to see a number of other participants joining in the celebration this morning. We'll keep you updated on who else is joining the events today. We do know, of course, not a large group in terms of the crowd present in the nation's capital this morning, but a number of esteemed people joining this morning's events this morning. Keep your eyes here on CW22 as well as our continuing coverage on KREM 2 throughout the morning.
Are you up for changing someone's life today?
Karamo Brown helps this single mom trust again.
I'm scared. You're not alone. Only on Drew.
Today at 11 on CW22.
In these parts, Ford honors the brave ones. Our wagons may have changed, but their spirit lives on. For a limited time, get a new Ford Escape Edge or Explorer with 0 for 60 plus $2,500 bonus cash. Only at your local Northwest Ford dealer.
At Rosar Supermarkets, our 2,100 employees are the backbone of our success. The backbone of a local economy is an educated workforce, and our K-12 education programs are critical in developing that workforce. Voting yes for school levies on February 9th will help ensure job growth and job opportunities for our kids. These levies are not new taxes, just replacement dollars to help fund programs including art, music, technology, and smaller class sizes. I urge you to vote yes for school levies on February 9th.
Your mission: stand up to moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis and take it on with Rinvoq. Rinvoq, a once-daily pill, can dramatically improve symptoms. Rinvoq helps tame pain, stiffness, swelling, and for some, Rinvoq can even significantly reduce RA fatigue. That's Rinvoq relief. With RA, your overactive immune system attacks your joints. Rinvoq regulates it to help stop the attack.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious infections and blood clots, sometimes fatal, have occurred, as have certain cancers, including lymphoma, and tears in the stomach or intestines, and changes in lab results. Your doctor should monitor your blood work. Tell your doctor about any infections, and if you are or may become pregnant while taking Rinvoq.
Take on RA. Talk to your rheumatologist about Rinvoq relief. Rinvoq. Make it your mission. If you can't afford your medicine, AbbVie may be able to help.
Oikos 000 has 15 grams of protein. Saquon Barkley needs protein to get the groceries from car to house in one trip.
I eat the protein that comes in this yogurt.
In these parts, Ford honors the brave ones. Our wagons may have changed, but their spirit lives on. For a limited time, get a new Ford Escape Edge or Explorer with 0 for 60 plus $2,500 bonus cash. Only at your local Northwest Ford dealer.
You're watching Up with KREM.
Well, as we go through the day today, we are going to start to see a shift in the weather pattern take place overhead. What that means for you is that a little bit of sunshine later this afternoon will be replaced by cloud cover tomorrow and snow in southern Washington and southern parts of the Idaho Panhandle. Then this weekend, another storm following that one taps into the cold air, bringing us our next chance of snow here in the inland Northwest. For that to happen, temperatures take a dive, so enjoy the warmth today and tomorrow before cooler temps this weekend, sunshine Saturday, and snow by Sunday.
Taking a live look right now at the nation's capital as the Supreme Court justices have made their way to this morning's inauguration ceremony. Of course, they are also joined by former Presidents Bill Clinton, President George W. Bush, and President Barack Obama, who have all entered this morning. Of course, we also know that the Vice President and the President-elect's children will all be in attendance as well. Coming up this morning, we expect to see the stepchildren of Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. That would be Ella and Cole Emhoff, set to enter this morning. They will be followed by the president's daughter, Ashley, and son, Hunter, who will enter shortly afterwards. After that, coming up in about the next 10 minutes at some point, we do expect to update you on the appearance of Vice President Mike Pence and Karen Pence, who are set to enter as well this morning. Notable in his absence is President Donald Trump, not attending this morning's live inauguration ceremony this morning. Of course, you can keep your eyes not only on the CW22 for the latest coverage, but also on KREM 2 for coverage throughout the morning. And of course, keep your eyes right here. We'll update you on the latest out of our nation's capital as we leave you with this look from the live look right now in D.C.
Thanks for watching Up with KREM.
Are you looking for your forever electrician? Look no further than Infinite Electric. Our licensed, bonded, and insured electricians are among the most trusted and experienced in the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene region. Call now and receive $49 off your next electrical service or repair. Infinite Electric, your forever electricians.
Our team is the difference. I'm Lauren Guskey.
Yep, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
When we started
Thank you.
Horizon in 1998, we saw a need for exceptional hospice care provided by a skilled, compassionate team and a supportive and honoring workplace.
This is the first place where I feel they truly appreciate the skills I bring to the table.
And remember, you have a choice. So don't just say hospice. Say Horizon Hospice.
Don't just do it yourself. Do it for yourself.
This Toyota Tacoma rewards truck enthusiasts with plenty of versatility. Drivers tell us they appreciate the Tacoma's reliability and legendary off-road dexterity. With a huge list of standard safety features, this midsize pickup is the perfect choice. It's good for towing and hauling. The V6 powered Tacoma can tow 6,800 pounds. It's perfect for transporting a boat or a pair of ATVs. Try it for yourself with a test drive at the No Problem Place, Parker Toyota, Highway 95 in Coeur d'Alene.
Lights flickering? Outlet not working? Infinite Electric will have you up and running in no time. Call now and receive $49 off your next electrical service or repair. For all your electrical needs, Infinite Electric, your forever electricians.
Watch the People's Court and Judge Mathis today on CW22.
Hi, Harry S. Truman.
Hi, John Fitzgerald Kennedy.
Today, President-elect Joe Biden will take the oath of office. Right now on Up with KREM, from Spokane to the nation's capital, we have team coverage of Inauguration Day.
Security is on high alert ahead of the inauguration. This morning, the Washington National Guard is on standby in Olympia.
In his final days in office, President Trump has issued an extensive list of pardons. This morning, though, one TV star is still hoping to make the list.
A little bit of sunshine later on this afternoon, but by this weekend, a shift in the weather pattern brings about a chance of snow.
To heal, we must remember. It's hard sometimes to remember.
A solemn night for Spokane and other cities around the country as America pays tribute to coronavirus victims.
Up with KREM starts right now with Jen York, Joshua Robinson, Jeremy Legoo, and Dana Marie McNichol.
.01 now. Well, this morning we are taking a live look at the nation's capital. Any minute now, we are waiting for President-elect Joe Biden to arrive there for Inauguration Day.
And of course, we are also expecting any minute now to see Vice President Mike Pence, as well as his wife Karen Pence, expected to make their way out for the inauguration proceedings this morning. Jen?
Yeah, we've already seen a number of family members arrive for that ceremony. We've also seen the Supreme Court justices arrive as well.
And when the inauguration does continue, of course, Joe Biden will officially be sworn in this morning as the 46th President of the United States. That will take place around 9 Pacific time, and then around noon, he will arrive by military escort to the White House. Of course, we're going to continue to bring you the latest coverage on today's events here on Up with KREM on the CW22.
You can watch full inauguration coverage this morning on KREM 2. Of course, we're going to be dipping into coverage here on the CW, but we'll keep up to date with your local headlines as well. And starting with this, 8:02 now, Jeremy joining us now in the Weather Center. Jeremy, what are we looking at now as we enter our 8 o'clock hour?
Ooh. Sun is up, and it's not quite out just yet. We've got a little bit of cloud cover on the eastern horizon, and that cloud cover is going to stick around, but I do think we will get a couple of peaks of direct sunlight later on today. Visibility looking quite nice early on this morning. Not near the fog we saw yesterday, but a few locations starting to see it as we hit simultaneously the coldest spot of the day and when sun hits some of that frost and puts a little bit more moisture in the atmosphere. Temperatures hovering in the 20s. Sandpoint dipped down to 23 now here in Spokane, hovering at 27 degrees. A little bit of cloud cover early on. Expect a little bit of sun later today, but it's cloudy kind of sunshine. And then tomorrow we'll see a little system slide in, offers some precipitation farther to the south. Here we're dry for much of the inland northwest. Back to you guys.
All right, we want to take a live look now back at our nation's capital. We just saw Vice President Mike Pence and his wife Karen walk out onto the stage along previously by
Tim, thank you. We're going to fix that microphone situation, but as again, we're taking a live look there. We see Vice President Mike Pence has just arrived at the inauguration stage. Of course, we're still awaiting President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris to take their place on the inauguration stage as well.
By not only their family members, but also joined by 3 former presidents. You can see right now on screen, former President Bill Clinton, along with George W. Bush, Laura Bush to the side. Of course, we are also going to take a look as well at some of the security issues that are proceeding in the state capitol as well. Let's take a look at what's being done to make sure in Washington state security is tight.
Last night, I spoke to Washington State Patrol, who said that they are hopeful that things are going to remain calm here in Olympia today. Still, the National Guard is outside of the building. What we know is there are 600 National Guard members here at the state capitol. 400 Washington National Guard members were sent to Washington, D.C. for the inauguration. As far as what the time frame is for how long the National Guard is going to remain here in Olympia, that is still unknown. Some things we do know is that the governor and spokespersons for the governor said they'll reassess the needs following the inauguration. The National Guard was given the okay to stay here at least through the weekend. Since they were put on patrol about a week and a half ago, 2 people have been arrested trying to gain access to the Capitol property. We also asked, what is all of this going to cost between food, lodging, and supplies? State Patrol says they don't know yet. They anticipate it's going to be a lot of money, but they say it was worth it.
Preparedness is not cheap. Security is not cheap. Safety is not cheap. But neither are the lives of the people that we're protecting.
Even if the National Guard is given the okay to leave, Washington State Patrol says there is still a fence around the Capitol building. It's unclear when that fence will be taken down. However, some lawmakers are arguing it should be taken down soon. But keep in mind, even without those security precautions, people still can't access the state Capitol building, and that is because of the coronavirus pandemic. In Olympia, Callie Greenberg, back to you.
Kelly, thank you. 8:06 now. Well, this morning, security, of course, high across the nation. This is for possible protests today. We also want to check with local law enforcement to learn what they are expecting today locally. Nicole Hernandez is joining us live in Spokane with more information.
Yeah, so at this point, the Spokane Police Department says that they don't know of any planned protests in our area, but they do say that they will still have officers on standby just in case anything happens. Now, of course, this all comes after we saw violence at the Capitol just the other week. Even though Spokane Stop the Steal protests here were peaceful, the city still wants to be prepared just in case. So here's what the Spokane Police Chief said in a statement about being prepared. Quote, the #1 focus of our available resources is dedicated to monitoring any potential threats and using every available asset to ensure this week is peaceful and nonviolent for our region. Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward also posted a statement on Facebook about today's transition of power. In part of that post, she said, quote, our city has been an example of how people can disagree, even passionately, without resorting to violence or destructive behavior. Let's do everything we can, Spokane, to make sure that continues. Mayor Woodward also asked in that same statement that people stay vigilant throughout the day, and also said that if you see any suspicious behavior of any type, you can go ahead and report that to Spokane Police. In Spokane, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
All right, we'll be right back with more Up with KREM after this short break.
The Beef Zone, where BLT meets double beef and creamy ranch. Try the new BLT Ranch Double Cheeseburger for just $2.99. Part of Charbroiled Double Deals at Carl's Jr. Feed your happy.
I could have chose to stay with Ford Corporate in Detroit or enjoy the easy life of my first dealership in Grangeville, Idaho. I chose here, not just Spokane or the Valley, but the surrounding beauty of the Palouse and Rockford, the honor of Fairchild, the strength of Freeman, the celebrations in Cheney, the harvest of Spangle. Ford buyers of Eastern Washington are different. They get who they are, what they want to do, and where they are going. They're about community, honor, hard work, and giving back. Spokane is the center of these strong roots. I chose here, and our people are as true as they are tough. They are built Ford tough. Whether you're a lifelong Ford owner or curious about joining the rest of us, we want to welcome you to the family. The Gus Johnson Ford family, home of built Ford, tough people.
When can you get the COVID vaccine? It depends. There are millions of people to vaccinate in Washington, and because there aren't enough doses for everyone yet, we're distributing the vaccine in phases, starting with the people most likely to get COVID or become seriously ill. To find out if you can get the vaccine now or get notified when it's your turn, visit findyourphasewa.org. And keep up the good work, Washington. Together, we can end the pandemic.
2021 is here, and there are a lot of things we are looking forward to someday.
Like traveling. For now, we can travel from the bedroom to the living room.
Going to movie theaters.
At least we have these comfortable sectionals to watch movies from.
date night in a crowded restaurant.
We can always pretend with these great dining sets. Cheers!
Furniture's so nice you'll feel like you're somewhere else.
Kerner Furniture's January clearance sale. Going on now. Nice store, low prices.
For skin that never holds you back, don't settle for silver. Number 1 for diabetic dry skin. Number 1 for psoriasis symptom relief. And number 1 for eczema symptom relief. Gold Bond, champion your skin.
Hungry for a double deal? This beefy BLT just put on a little ranch. The new BLT Ranch Double Cheeseburger for just $2.99. Part of Charbroiled Double Deals at Carl's Jr. Feed your happy.
We are taking a live look right now from the nation's capital as more guests continue to come in to this morning's inauguration ceremony. Of course, we know in attendance already some of the family members of the Vice President-elect and the President-elect in attendance, joined by 3 former presidents, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama, all in attendance this morning. Also joined, Jen, by some of the Supreme Court justices as well.
Yeah, we've seen a number of people over the course of the past hour or so make their way out onto the stage and take their seats. It appears another person is arriving just now. That is Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, I believe. There she's stepping into the light, working to make her way out onto the stage and to take her seat for the inauguration. Again, inauguration set for about 45 minutes from now or so. That is set to get underway at 9 a.m. our time this morning.
Joined by her husband, Doug Emhoff, as well, Jen, but of course, notable in his absence, President Donald Trump choosing not to attend the inauguration ceremony. His former Vice President, of course, Mike Pence, in attendance, along with his wife, Karen. A number of guests appearing this morning as that ceremony continues throughout the day. Of course, we will keep our eyes locked on Washington, D.C. this morning, Jen. And of course, a lot has been made, Jen, about the fact that the crowd is going to be virtually gone, replaced instead with flags representing all of the people that will not be in attendance in terms of whether for security issues or for COVID pandemic related issues.
And we're seeing Vice President-elect Kamala Harris there wearing gloves, issuing a few fist bumps. There she's hugging her stepchildren as she steps out onto the stage as well. Of course, this is something we'll continue to track. Of course, we're still waiting for President-elect Joe Biden to make his way onto the stage. I presume that he will be next.
We would also like to take this opportunity to remind you that along with joining us this morning here on Up with KREM, you can also keep your eyes on KREM 2 this morning for live coverage throughout the day of today's inauguration ceremony. Of course, a long list of people in attendance this morning as we await the arrival of President-elect Joe Biden, set to arrive any minute now, Jen.
Yeah, the stage certainly filling up this morning. It looks like there is some commotion there behind the doors there. Again, we are waiting for President-elect Joe Biden and Dr. Jill Biden to make their way onto the stage this morning. And they've been coming out every few minutes or so as the stage gets set there for inauguration again in about 45 minutes from now.
And thus far, Jen, of course, security has been a big question this morning. So far, we have been keeping our eyes looking for reports out of the nation's capital. So far, it seems to have gone according to plan, according to the schedule that we have been following this morning of the way things were supposed to proceed. We do expect Joe Biden to arrive any minute now on the screen, joining the rest of the inauguration party this morning for a historic day at our nation's capital, Jen.
All right, coming up now on 8:14, we'll continue to monitor this situation from the nation's capital. Now, in the meantime, we do want to get a quick look at weather.
Well, we're taking you outside as our January continues. No doubt about that. We are looking at a pretty warm month. Temperatures have trended well above normal so far this month. We've averaged more than 7 degrees above where we should be. So when you take a look at snowfall so far this season, we've seen about 4 inches more than we do in an average winter to this point. But so far in the month of January, believe it or not, we've seen just 1/10 of an inch of moisture. That puts us about 8 inches behind in terms of snowfall for this month. But as temperatures cool in the coming days and a little bit of moisture works its way into the northwest, we have the chance of picking up some much needed snow. I know a lot of you at home are going, what? No, that's not needed, but it is a little bit for a lot of us. We need just a few inches of it on the ground, which is typically about what we have right now. This morning we're seeing the sun come up, and I told you we'd see some breaks in these clouds and start to get a little of that sun peeking through. I think we see that continue throughout the day. It's a mix of clouds and sun taking us through Wednesday. Temperatures are set to rise with that being the case. I think we squeeze about 10 more degrees out of the day. The good news is we didn't see as much fog today as what we saw yesterday. A few slick spots on Highway 2 and 395 off to the north of Spokane, but that's really about the extent of what we saw in terms of slick spots from freezing fog. Temperatures are in the 20s early on, and later on we're going to talk about that change in the forecast coming up.
Love Local, proudly sponsored by STCU.
Love Local. It's about showcasing our local businesses, schools, and nonprofits.
We all know nothing's easy about COVID-19, and the economic recovery will be long.
But our community is strong, and we can help our favorite places right now.
Knowing what businesses are open and how you can safely support them is a start.
Go to KREM.com and visit the Love Local Business Directory. Live,
learn.
Love Local.
STCU proudly sponsors Love Local.
Oro wheat bread, gathering, baking, and delivering the goodness of nature from one generation to the next, and from seed to slice.
Taking a live look now from the nation's capital this morning as we expect the arrival of Joe and Jill Biden any minute now as the inauguration proceedings continue this morning. Just a few minutes ago, if you joined us, you saw Kamala Harris joining her husband Doug Imhoff as they made their way to the stage. As you see right now, they will be joined by a number of other people in attendance. We can see everyone from former presidents to family members all in attendance for this day from the nation's capital. Jen.
Yeah, again, we've been watching this over the course of the past few hours as well, and I'll give you an updated timeline of events. So we're still waiting for Dr. Jill Biden to be announced onto the podium. We're also waiting for President-elect Joe Biden to be welcomed on the podium as well. Following that, there will be an invocation to begin the ceremony. Then we'll see the national anthem performed by Lady Gaga, and then the Pledge of Allegiance, and then so forth. And it'll move on through the course of the ceremony as continues. There's also a musical performance in there from Jennifer Lopez. We've actually seen A-Rod on the podium this morning as well, there to support his fiance as well. And the oath of office this morning is expected to be around 8:45. So that is when President-elect Biden will be sworn in as the 46th president of the United States. Again, we're keeping a close eye on these doors as the guests are being welcomed one by one this morning. And again, still waiting for President-elect Joe Biden to be welcomed onto that podium. And there he is with his wife, Dr. Jill Biden. And we're watching this live. This is expected to be the 46th president of the United States. Again, Joe Biden expected to be sworn in this morning in about 30 minutes or so. Again, he's just being welcomed onto the podium now before that ceremony will get underway.
And Jen, it truly has been such a unique proceeding through the inauguration as well, with all of the pandemic restrictions in place, with the safety precautions in place. We've admitted multiple times, sometimes as people have been coming out, we've seen the masks on their face. It's been very difficult sometimes to spot who has been coming out. Of course, President-elect Joe Biden, not one of those people, very easy to identify this morning. But it just goes to show, Jen, all of the precautions that are in place this morning to make sure this inauguration is held as safely as possible.
Yeah, and we've seen in lieu of crowds that would normally attend an inauguration, flags lined up on the National Mall, of course asking people to stay home for the inauguration ceremony. Even locals, the mayor of Washington, the local community there, is saying, please do not attend the inauguration out of concerns for the pandemic. All right, looks like everyone has taken their seat now. Next is the invocation to begin that ceremony. All right, coming up now on 8:20, we'll continue tracking this morning. We'll be right back.
Tonight's going to be active weather-wise. We're talking winds that could potentially be damaging, right?
Absolutely. Possibility of some of these trees just coming down.
Tracking the latest breaking updates for you as a windstorm is now passing through the region.
So we want to get right to Jeremy Legoo tracking the wind this morning.
We are expecting that strong wind to continue.
Powerful windstorm just wreaking havoc.
Nearly 100,000 people across the region without power.
Trees ripped clean out of the ground. Try to avoid driving on the roads tonight.
You know, the wind has kind of subsided, but the cleanup effort just getting started.
Auto accident? Let me handle the insurance adjuster. I'm Larry West, a local attorney. I care about your case and will handle it personally to get you compensation for your injuries. I'll fight for you. Call me. I actually answer my phone. 724-1192.
Here's something you may not know. At Becker Buick GMC, we have some of the best nearly new pre-owned vehicles in the region. You'll discover a large inventory of top quality pre-owned vehicles that will fit your specific needs and your budget.
Okay.
And if you prefer, you can even shop online right from home. Just select your vehicle and schedule the delivery. Take the pain out of the purchase, where you're always treated like family at Becker Buick GMC and Becker Pre-Owned.
Leaky pipes? Clogged drain? No hot water? At Raptor Rooter and Plumbing, we know there's more essential business happening in your home now than ever before. We've implemented a no-contact process because we understand the safety of your family and sanitation of your home is critical. Call Raptor Rooter and Plumbing today at 509-230-2369 and receive $30 off any drain cleaning service. Raptor Rooter and Plumbing. We make your leaks become extinct.
When it comes to your cancer treatments, you have choices.
It's important to explore your options. A second opinion can help you make a more informed decision about your treatment.
Contact Summit Cancer Centers today. One of our cancer specialists will speak to you directly, offering you same-day second opinions and options available for your type of cancer. And second opinions are covered by most insurance companies.
Cancer, it's worth a second look.
Summit Cancer Centers. Integrated, innovative, inspired.
Auto accident? Let me handle the insurance adjuster. I'm Larry West, a local attorney. I care about your case and will handle it personally to get you compensation for your injuries. I'll fight for you. Call me. I actually answer my phone. 724-1192.
You're watching Up with KREM.
8:22 this morning. We are minutes away from President-elect Joe Biden being sworn in as the 46th President of the United States.
Gabe Cohen with our sister station in Washington, D.C. tells us more about the events underway in the nation's capital.
It's going to be a very busy morning for the president-elect, soon-to-be President Joe Biden. He's expected to attend a church service this morning before he heads to the Capitol. And then, as you mentioned, right around noon Eastern, he's going to be sworn in as the 46th president. His wife, Dr. Jill Biden, will be beside him, holding their family Bible. We are expecting performances from Lady Gaga, Jennifer Lopez, Bruce Springsteen, and more. As we know, President Trump has already left. He's left on Air Force One, heading to Florida after a departure ceremony. He's now off to Mar-a-Lago. He's the first sitting president to skip his successor's inauguration in more than 150 years. But we do expect Joe Biden is going to be giving his first address from the Capitol just after he's sworn in. And the theme of this inauguration, his administration has said, is America United. But right now, there are big concerns whether or not that's actually going to be the case in the hours ahead. As I mentioned last hour, there are major security concerns here in D.C. Where we're standing now, this bridge, it's one of the few that's still open, allowing people to head into downtown D.C. But much of that area in downtown is in lockdown right now. We know military roadblocks are all over the place. There are fences with razor wire on top around the Capitol and the National Mall. And there are roughly 25,000 troops from the National Guard that have now deployed to Washington, D.C. It is more than double what was initially expected, and there are major concerns about what types of security threats we could see. We do expect some demonstrations, but they'll be happening most likely. Our understanding is that it'll be in a sanctioned area, what's been called the First Amendment zone, and those people will be screened as they go in. So we don't expect to see anything like what we saw on January 6th, the insurrection at the Capitol. But just in the last couple of days, security officials have raised concerns about a potential inside job, with 12 members of the National Guard having been removed from their security posts because of either odd behavior or potential ties to right-wing fringe groups. We have also heard concerns about QAnon and members threatening to pose as National Guard troops to try to get into the inauguration, get through inauguration security. So again, these officials, at the FBI, the National Guard, local law enforcement, everyone is on high alert here in D.C. this morning.
And Gabe, stay with us here just a moment. Of course, we know that flags are lining the National Mall. Are you still seeing people that are trying to attend the inauguration this morning?
Well, we are expecting a crowd. They're expecting a much smaller crowd, which obviously is COVID related. It was already expected to be the case. That the crowd is expected to be roughly what would the group that would be at the State of the Union address, maybe 1,000 people or so. The mayor of D.C. has told people, do not come to our city. And for those here, the 700,000 people in this community are being asked not to go anywhere near that downtown area. And frankly, for any members of the public who might be trying to get a look at what's unfolding, it is going to be extremely difficult. As I mentioned, there are military roadblocks all over the place. Getting anywhere near the National Mall is next to impossible. You need special credentials to get through through Secret Service. There are separate credentials for different areas. So frankly, we're expecting a very small group trying to make their way to downtown.
All right, Gabe Cohen reporting live this morning from the D.C. area. We'll be checking in with him throughout the morning. Gabe, we appreciate your coverage this morning as we continue to check in on a historic day from our nation's capital.
All right, 8:26 now. Ceremony's just now getting underway at the podium there for inauguration. We are standing by for the national anthem. Lady Gaga is set to perform that. Of course, that's something we'll continue to track coming up on the CW22.
Are you looking for your forever electrician? Look no further than Infinite Electric. Our licensed, bonded, and insured electricians are among the most trusted and experienced in the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene region. Call now and receive $49 off your next electrical service or repair. Infinite Electric, your forever electricians.
Hi folks, I'm Carol from Wild West. We all
Yes.
like one-stop shopping and to have lots of choices too.
Okay.
That's what you get at
So
Wild
what's the
West.
plan for this
We have
upcoming
furniture
block?
for the bedroom, living room, dining, and office. Our in-stock inventory is huge. There is no waiting. You can
Are we
furnish your
talking over it or
entire
are we
home
listening
with
in?
One stop at Wild West. Our expert sales staff and
Okay.
builders are friendly, excited to help, and we're here every
And then from
day,
there, where are we
only
going?
95 Coeur d'Alene.
Like you, my hands
Okay.
are everything to me. But I was diagnosed with Dupuytren's contracture, and it got to the point
Okay.
where things I took for granted got tougher to do.
Thank you.
Thought surgery was my only option. Turns out, I was wrong. So when a hand specialist told me about non-surgical treatments, it was a total game changer. Like you, my hands have a lot more to do. Learn more at faxonhand.com today.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a four-letter word.
I think I'll sell my veggies at the market.
You even remember to water the house plants. I do this?
You can do this.
Hey, we need to build a home office.
We're adding another bathroom.
I think I'll study programming.
Bro, you can't even connect your phone to Bluetooth.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
Lights flickering? Outlet not working? Infinite Electric will have you up and running in no time. Call now and receive $49 off your next electrical service or repair. For all your electrical needs, Infinite Electric, your forever electricians.
Coming up now on 8:30, this is a live look at the nation's capital this morning, where the inauguration ceremony is now underway. It got underway just a few minutes ago. You can see President-elect Joe Biden there on the left side of your screen, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris there on your right. It appears now they are set for the invocation, the prayer ahead of that ceremony. Of course, Lady Gaga is expected to perform the national anthem here shortly, and we'll continue to track that.
That prayer, by the way, will be performed by Father Leo O'Donovan any minute now once that begins. Of course, all part of the ceremony this morning as we see progressing with a number of safety precautions in place. You can see a number of screens up as well. You can see masks and gloves being worn by everyone in attendance this morning, Jen. Safety at the paramount, the top priority as this morning's event continues to progress.
And of course, we'll continue to track this morning here on Up with KREM. We'll also have a look at your local headlines. For full inauguration coverage, you can watch KREM 2. 8:30 now, 27 degrees. We want to check in with Jeremy Legoo.
You know, 27 degrees here. Believe it or not, in the inauguration, it's 42 degrees with some strong wind and a couple of stray flurries coming down. For us, we don't have to worry about flurries today. We've got a little bit of sunshine as we kick things off early on this morning. Expect that sun to kind of stick around, but we do have cloud cover working its way in later on today. Temperatures start the day in the 20s. It's a chilly start for everyone, no doubt about that. And by this afternoon, we are expecting a little increase in temperatures thanks to a few breaks in the clouds that are going to try to move in. That sunshine should help bump our temps up. Then tomorrow, it's moisture moving in that's going to bump our temperatures up, and clouds taking us through a good portion of the day. Some parts of southern Washington, southern portions of the Idaho Panhandle might pick up around an inch of snow by the time it comes to an end. So if it's sunshine you like, today's your day. 37 degrees later on this afternoon with a mix of clouds and sunshine.
All right, Jeremy, thank you. 8:31 now. Well, this morning, a young Republican in Seattle is calling for change and a reboot for the sake of the environment. Our sister station in Seattle reports he has more on what he hopes to see as a new administration steps in.
At just 23 years old, Benji Backer says he's a lifelong conservative that has been active in the conservative movement since before he was even able to vote. He says he's now looking forward to working with the new administration to work on issues he believes matters most. Now, the UW grad founded the American Conservative Coalition in 2016 after the election to give conservatives a voice on the environment. He says conservatives and liberals should be able to work together on climate change solutions and that the environment should not be a partisan issue. Having someone in office to embrace climate change is something Backer hopes will bring all parties one step closer in the right direction.
And we won't agree with him, 100% of the time. But when we do, pushing those things together, and when we don't, we will, obviously go our separate ways. But there is a larger opportunity to move forward here. And our hope is that it's bipartisan, it's middle of the road, and it's focused on solutions that actually drive down carbon emissions.
Backer also points out that his group does not agree with recent violent events that have taken place in the country and that the new administration should not see Trump supporters as enemies. Parise Thomas, KREM 2 News.
And in just a matter of minutes, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will make history for several reasons, not only as the first woman vice president, but also the first Black and Asian American vice president. She's also going to become the first vice president to be a member of a historically Black sorority. While at Howard University, Harris was a member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, the country's first Black sorority. Sharon Freeman is the president of the sorority's Tacoma chapter, and she says she'll be glued to the TV all morning long.
I never thought it would happen in my lifetime, but I am so glad I am alive to see this happen. I'm not going to miss a minute. I'm going to see it all.
Harris tweeted a photo a few days ago of celebrating the sorority's 113th year of sisterhood and service. She also signed off with her Greek nickname, C3, calm, cool, and collected.
8:34 now. Well, this morning there is a huge push to use the remaining COVID-19 doses currently in Washington state. Washington Governor Jay Inslee wants the current stock administered by this Sunday. And for any future shipments, he wants 95% of those doses given within 1 week.
And now the Washington State Hospital Association is weighing in on why they think they can meet that goal.
I do think we think this is realistic. We now have a lot more people we can vaccinate. There were a lot of we were beating the bushes to find 1As in the last week. So I think it's exciting that we have there's a lot more people eligible.
The Hospital Association is asking you not to flood hospitals looking for vaccines because that does increase the risk of spreading the coronavirus.
In Idaho, Governor Brad Little is asking for help with the pandemic response. He wants to activate more National Guard members. He wants the number to be increased from 250 to 400 Guard members. And the additional members will help with vaccine distribution. Idaho will also soon offer healthcare providers grants to make it easier to administer the vaccine. These are for already enrolled vaccine providers. They will help cover the cost of increasing staffing to administer shots. The grants can also be used to purchase equipment and supplies. It will also improve vaccine access for hard-to-reach and vulnerable populations. The amount each vaccine provider will receive is based on the number of doses it can administer.
The Washington National Guard is set to assist with a mass vaccination site at the Spokane Arena. This week's spokesperson with the arena stated they do not have any additional information about the number of National Guard members who will be helping, their specific duties, or how long they will be on site. Now, this isn't the first time the National Guard members have assisted with efforts to curb the spread of COVID-19 in eastern Washington. You might remember members arrived in Pullman in early September to assist with coronavirus testing as Whitman County experienced a surge in cases. All right, let's take you live to the nation's capital as we continue to wait the presentation of the national anthem. You can see Lady Gaga joining right now the Marine Band, the top band in our country this morning. Let's take a look and a listen for the performance of the national anthem.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
All right, we've been listening into the national anthem there. That is Lady Gaga performing this morning. Now, from here, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance, and then Vice President-elect Kamala Harris is expected to be sworn into office. Also still to come, another musical performance by Jennifer Lopez, as well as Garth Brooks throughout the ceremony. There are a number of speakers as well set to take the podium here momentarily as this inauguration ceremony is now officially underway.
Of the International Association.
The secret to amazing hair? Dove believes you get amazing results when you get the details right. That's why new Dove Hair Therapy range has selected ingredients so potent they instantly nourish damaged hair at a cellular level. 100% smoother hair after first use.
I'm Ron Sears with SellingMakesSense.com, and I want to buy your house. I'll make you an as-is cash offer on your house within 24 hours. Whether it's a total fixer-upper or in perfect condition, SellingMakesSense.com is the easiest way to sell your house. When you sell your house to SellingMakesSense.com, there's no fees, no commissions, no banks, and no repairs. Just go to SellingMakesSense.com for a free, no-obligation cash offer 24 hours a day. SellingMakesSense.com, the sensible way to sell.
At Chewy, we know walks are made better with our furry friends.
What's up?
We're here to make those walks easier every step of the way. From tasty treats on the go to toys that keep them moving. Whether it's rain or shine, get everything they need, even prescriptions to help them stay healthy. At Chewy, we have leashes, toys, and treats.
Got that, Jeremy?
Kind of walk, delivered right to your door.
Okay.
Get fast, free 1 to 2 day shipping. Visit chewy.com today.
If your dry eye symptoms keep coming back,
Jeremy, it's very clear that we don't like you. I don't know if you know that or not.
Over-the-counter eye drops typically work by
It's subtly the way that we wanted to break the news to you. Oh, sounds like we're gonna come right to Kamala. The oath is starting right now.
Cause dry eye disease.
What is that? Zydra.
It can provide lasting relief.
Please raise your right hand.
FDA-approved treatment specifically for the signs and symptoms of dry eye disease. 1 drop in each eye, twice a day. Don't use if you're allergic to Zydra. Common side effects include eye irritation, discomfort,
That I will support
when applied to the eye, and unusual taste sensation. Don't touch container tip to your eye or any surface. After using Zydra, wait 15 minutes before reinserting contacts.
Got any room in your eye?
Talk to an eye doctor about twice daily Zydra.
I'd prefer you didn't.
Zydra. Not today, dry eye.
At VisionWorks, we want you to feel safe. And we want you to see yourself in your new glasses and think, ooh.
or purpose of evasion.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
That I will well and faithfully discharge.
That I will well and faithfully discharge.
The duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
The duties of the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
All right, there, listening in now, Vice President Kamala Harris just sworn into office. She was sworn into office by Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
And of course, upcoming this morning, any minute now, we do expect the same to be done for President-elect Joe Biden being sworn in the office of president as well. Keeping our eyes right here this morning at the latest from the inauguration from Washington, D.C. Of course, keep your eyes here on Up with KREM on the CW22 as well as on KREM 2 for coverage throughout the morning.
Now we are standing by for another musical performance. Jennifer Lopez is expected to perform next, though we do have a rundown of events. They have been going in a different order than what was initially expected, but things are moving along here now. Of course, Vice President Kamala Harris now taking the oath of office, now sworn into office, and Jennifer Lopez now being escorted out onto the podium. Also still ahead, Garth Brooks is set to perform with the Marine Band as well. That will be after President Biden gives the inaugural address once he is sworn into office.
This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking down that ribbon of highway, saw above me, that endless skyway I saw below me, that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. Oh, this land, oh, this land. This land was made for you and me. Oh, this land, oh, this land. This land was made for you and me. You and me. Oh, America, America, God shed His grace on thee and crowned thy good with brotherhood. From sea to shining
Una nación bajo Dios, indivisible, con libertad y justicia para todos.
Let's get loud, 'cause this land was made for you and me.
Taking a live listen in to J-Lo putting her own spin on the performance of This Land Is Your Land. Jen, a bit of a rendition. We expected a little bit of a twist on J-Lo's performance this morning.
That was great.
Of course, as these inauguration proceedings continue this morning, any minute now, we do expect President Biden to receive his inaugural address.
So now we're seeing Senator Amy Klobuchar introducing Chief Justice Roberts.
It is now my distinct honor to introduce the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, John Roberts, to administer the presidential oath to the next President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the oath of office, followed by musical honors.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Joseph Robinette Biden, Jr., do solemnly swear.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden, Jr., do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
Office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
All right, we are watching the inauguration of the 46th President of the United States. Joe Biden just took the oath of office, now officially the President of the United States. Also sworn in this morning, Vice President Kamala Harris. We are right now standing by for the inaugural address from President Biden. He is expected to take the podium shortly.
My fellow Americans, a moment we have all been waiting for. It is now my great privilege and high honor to be the first person to officially introduce the 46th President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden, Jr.
Chief Justice Roberts, Vice President Harris, Speaker Pelosi, Leader Schumer, Leader McConnell, Vice President Pence, and my distinguished guests, my fellow Americans. This is America's day. This is democracy's day, a day of history and hope, of renewal and resolve. Through a crucible for the ages, America has been tested anew, and America has risen to the challenge. Today, we celebrate the triumph not of a candidate, but of a cause, the cause of democracy. The people, the will of the people has been heard, and the will of the people has been heeded. We've learned again that democracy is precious. Democracy is fragile. And at this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed. So now, on this hallowed ground where just a few days ago, violence sought to shake the Capitol's very foundation, we come together as one nation, under God, indivisible, to carry out the peaceful transfer of power as we have for more than 2 centuries. As we look ahead in our uniquely American way, restless, bold, optimistic, and set our sights on the nation we know we can be and we must be. I thank my predecessors of both parties for their presence here today. I thank them from the bottom of my heart. And I know the resilience of our Constitution and the strength of our nation, as does President Carter, who I spoke with last night, who cannot be with us today, but whom we salute for his lifetime in service. I've just taken the sacred oath each of those patriots have taken, the oath first sworn by George Washington. But the American story depends not on any one of us, not on some of us, but on all of us, on we the people who seek a more perfect union. This is a great nation, We are good people. And over the centuries, through storm and strife, in peace and in war, we've come so far, but we still have far to go. We'll press forward with speed and urgency, for we have much to do in this winter of peril and significant possibilities. Much to repair, much to restore, much to heal, much to build, and much to gain. Few people in our nation's history have been more challenged or found a time more challenging or difficult than the time we're in now. Once-in-a-century virus that silently stalks the country. It's taken as many lives in 1 year as America lost in all of World War II. Millions of jobs have been lost. Hundreds of thousands of businesses closed. A cry for racial justice, some 400 years in the making, moves us. The dream of justice for all will be deferred no longer. A cry for survival comes from the planet itself, a cry that can't be any more desperate or any more clear. And now, a rise of political extremism, white supremacy, domestic terrorism, that we must confront and we will defeat. To overcome these challenges, to restore the soul and secure the future of America, requires so much more than words. It requires the most elusive of all things in a democracy: unity. Unity. In another January, on New Year's Day in 1863, Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. When he put pen to paper, the president said, and I quote, "If my name ever goes down into history, it'll be for this act, and my whole soul is in it." My whole soul is in it. Today, on this January day, my whole soul is in this, bringing America together, uniting our people, uniting our nation. And I ask every American to join me in this cause. Uniting to fight the foes we face: anger, resentment and hatred, extremism, lawlessness, violence, disease, joblessness, and hopelessness. With unity, we can do great things, important things. We can right wrongs. We can put people to work in good jobs. We can teach our children in safe schools. We can overcome the deadly virus. We can reward work and rebuild the middle class and make health care secure for all. We can deliver racial justice, and we can make America once again the leading force for good in the world. I know speaking of unity can sound to some like a foolish fantasy these days. I know the forces that divide us are deep and they are real. But I also know they are not new. Our history has been a constant struggle between the American ideal that we're all created equal and the harsh, ugly reality that racism, nativism, fear, demonization have long torn us apart. The battle is perennial, and victory is never assured. Through Civil War, the Great Depression, World War, 9/11, through struggle, sacrifice, and setbacks, our better angels have always prevailed. In each of these moments, enough of us have come together to carry all of us forward. And we can do that now. History, faith, and reason show the way of unity. We can see each other not as adversaries, but as neighbors. We can treat each other with dignity and respect. We can join forces, stop the shouting, and lower the temperature. For without unity, there is no peace, only bitterness and fury. No progress, only exhausting outrage. no nation, only a state of chaos. This is our historic moment of crisis and challenge, and unity is the path forward. And we must meet this moment as the United States of America. If we do that, I guarantee you we will not fail. We have never, ever, ever, ever failed in America when we've acted together. And so today, at this time, in this place, let's start afresh, all of us. Let's begin to listen to one another again, hear one another, see one another, show respect to one another. Politics doesn't have to be a raging fire, destroying everything in its path. Every disagreement doesn't have to be a cause for total war. And we must reject the culture in which facts themselves are manipulated and even manufactured. My fellow Americans, we have to be different than this. America has to be better than this. And I believe America is so much better than this. Just look around. Here we stand in the shadow of the Capitol Dome, as was mentioned earlier, completed amid the Civil War, when the Union itself was literally hanging in the balance. Yet we endured. We prevailed. Here we stand, looking out on the great mall where Dr. King spoke of his dream. Here we stand where 108 years ago, at another inaugural, thousands of protesters tried to block brave women marching for the right to vote. And today, we mark the swearing in of the first woman in American history elected to national office, Vice President Kamala Harris. Don't tell me things can't change. Here we stand across the Potomac from Arlington Cemetery, where heroes who gave the last full measure of devotion rest in eternal peace. And here we stand, just days after a riotous mob thought they could use violence to silence the will of the people, to stop the work of our democracy, to drive us from this sacred ground. It did not happen. It will never happen. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Not ever. To all those who supported our campaign, I'm humbled by the faith you've placed in us. To all those who did not support us, let me say this. Hear me out as we move forward. Take a measure of me and my heart. And if you still disagree, so be it. That's democracy. That's America. The right to dissent peaceably within the guardrails of our republic is perhaps this nation's greatest strength. Yet hear me clearly. Disagreement must not lead to disunion. And I pledge this to you. I will be a president for all Americans. All Americans. And I promise you, I will fight as hard for those who did not support me as for those who did. Many centuries ago, St. Augustine, a saint of my church, wrote that a people was a multitude defined by the common objects of their love. Defined by the common objects of their love. What are the common objects we as Americans love that define us as Americans? I think we know. Opportunity, security, liberty, dignity, respect, honor, and yes, the truth. Recent weeks and months have taught us a painful lesson. There is truth and there are lies. Lies told for power and for profit. And each of us has a duty and a responsibility as citizens, as Americans, and especially as leaders. Leaders who have pledged to honor our Constitution and protect our nation, to defend the truth and defeat the lies. Look, I understand that many of my fellow Americans view the future with fear and trepidation. I understand they worry about their jobs. I understand, like my dad, they lay at bed at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering, can I keep my health care? Can I pay my mortgage? Thinking about their families, about what comes next. I promise you, I get it. But the answer is not to turn inward, to retreat into competing factions, distrusting those who don't look like you, or worship the way you do, or don't get their news from the same sources you do. We must end this uncivil war that pits red against blue, rural versus urban, conservative versus liberal. We can do this if we open our souls instead of hardening our hearts, if we show a little tolerance and humility, and if we're willing to stand in the other person's shoes, as my mom would say, just for a moment, stand in their shoes. Because here's the thing about life. There's no accounting for what fate will deal you. Some days, when you need a hand. There are other days when we're called to lend a hand. That's how it has to be. That's what we do for one another. And if we are this way, our country will be stronger, more prosperous, more ready for the future. And we can still disagree. My fellow Americans, in the work ahead of us, we're going to need each other. We need all our strength to persevere through this dark winter. We're entering what may be the toughest and deadliest period of the virus. We must set aside politics and finally face this pandemic as one nation. One nation. And I promise you this, as the Bible says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. We will get through this together. Together. Look, folks, all my colleagues I serve with in the House and the Senate up here, we all understand the world is watching all of us today. So here's my message to those beyond our borders. America has been tested, and we've come out stronger for it. We will repair our alliances and engage with the world once again, not to meet yesterday's challenges, but today's and tomorrow's challenges. And we'll lead not merely by the example of our power, but by the power of our example. We'll be a strong and trusted partner for peace, progress, and security. Look, you all know we've been through so much in this nation. And my first act as president, I'd like to ask you to join me in a moment of silent prayer. Remember all of those who we lost in this past year to the pandemic. Those 400,000 fellow Americans, moms, dads, husbands, wives, sons, daughters, friends, neighbors, and co-workers. We'll honor them by becoming the people and the nation we know we can and should be. So I ask you, let's say a silent prayer for those who've lost their lives and those left behind, and for our country. Amen. Folks, this is a time of testing. We face an attack on our democracy and on truth, a raging virus, growing inequity, the sting of systemic racism, a climate in crisis, America's role in the world. Any one of these would be enough to challenge us in profound ways. But the fact is, we face them all at once, presenting this nation with one of the gravest responsibilities we've had. Now we're going to be tested. Are we going to step up, all of us? It's time for boldness, for there's so much to do. And this is certain. I promise you, we will be judged, you and I, by how we resolve these cascading crises of our era. We will rise to the occasion is the question. Will we master this rare and difficult hour? Will we meet our obligations and pass along a new and better world to our children? I believe we must. I'm sure you do as well. I believe we will. And when we do, we'll write the next great chapter in the history of the United States of America, the American story. A story that might sound something like a song that means a lot to me. It's called American Anthem. There's one verse that stands out, at least for me, and it goes like this. The work and prayers of century have brought us to this day. What shall be our legacy? What will our children say? Let me know in my heart when my days are through. America, America, I gave my best to you. Let's us add our own work and prayers to the unfolding story of our great nation. If we do this, then when our days are through, our children and our children's children will say of us, they gave their best, they did their duty, they healed a broken land. My fellow Americans, I close the day where I began, with the sacred oath. Before God and all of you, I give you my word. I will always level with you. I will defend the Constitution. I'll defend our democracy. I'll defend America. And I'll give all of you, keep everything I do in your service, thinking not of power, but of possibilities, not of personal interest, but the public good. And together, we shall write an American story of hope, not fear, of unity, not division, of light, not darkness, a story of decency and dignity, love and healing, greatness and goodness. May this be the story that guides us, the story that inspires us, and the story that tells ages yet to come that we answered the call of history. We met the moment. Democracy and hope, truth and justice did not die on our watch but thrived. That America secured liberty at home and stood once again as a beacon to the world. That is what we owe our forebears, one another, and generation to follow. So, with purpose and resolve, we turn to those tasks of our time, sustained by faith, driven by conviction, and devoted to one another and the country we love with all our hearts. May God bless America, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, America.
We've been listening in to the inaugural address of President Joe Biden, officially now the 46th President of the United States.
Of course, our coverage is set to continue throughout the day as the inauguration proceedings continue today. You can check out KREM 2 for more, including a performance by Garth Brooks, the reading of a poem, and the escort of the new Vice President and President to the White House.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.